TikTok says the clock. Nigeria's politics keeps getting interesting. With few weeks to the APC's primaries in search for a suitable candidate for the post of presidency. And tonight on the spotlight is one of the seemingly top contenders of fourth office of presidency, in the person of Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Welcome to the Think Osinbajo show, brought to you by the Osinbajo Think Tank. My name is Lilian Chide. And tonight I'm being joined by Major General Pat Akem, retired, a former provost marshal of the Nigerian military, a military strategist, leadership expert, and coach, certified leadership challenge, coach, facilitator, and CEO, Blue Point Leadership Consulting. He has a PhD in criminal justice with emphasis on global leadership from Wharton University, Minnesota, United States of America. He is the author of Winning Leadership, Strategic Leadership in a Volatile, Uncertain, Complex, and Ambiguous World. Great to have you on the show, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay, just before we take your talks tonight, we'll take a break, and when we return, the Think Osinbajo show will continue. Please stay with us.
Fellow Nigerians, the need to come together to chart the course of our great nation has never been more needed than now. That's why we have created a group to do all that we can to support the candidacy and emergence of Professor Yemi Osinbajo as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2023.
Ours is not just another support group, but one that strongly vouches for the personage intellectual capacity and prospect embedded in Nigeria's most celebrated vice president in history. And as intellectuals from different industries, we are solidly putting our resources to help achieve this vision.
Now that you know about us, do you share in our ideology and our ambition? Do you want to share strategic thoughts on how to move our nation forward? Start by joining us. It is free. Click the sign up button below. This is a call to serve.
We are the Osinbajo Think Tank.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the Osinbajo show, brought to you by the Osinbajo Think Tank. Just remember that you can join us via hashtag join the conversation on Twitter. And of course, on YouTube, you can actually drop your questions, of course, and be part of this live conversation. And welcome back, sir, Major General. I'd like to know why you are supporting the Vice President's ambition to become President of Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much. I got to know Professor Yemi Osinbajo in the 80s when I was a student at the University of Lagos, Law Faculty, where he taught me the law of evidence. Every one of us in the university knew that he was very cerebral, highly intelligent. In the whole of the Faculty of Law with many professors, it was this young man then, he was young then. You know, he was so young that he had parted hair in the center. And he used to come to the lecture hall with a bottle of Coke and nothing more. And he would give us notes, 10, 15 pages from his head, with cases and their citations. Law of evidence, cases and their citations. So we all sat up to take note that he was very intelligent. And shortly after that, I continued studying in the army, and then I got posted to Somalia to serve. And while in Somalia, Professor Yemi Osinbajo was there too with other professors who took leave of absence to work with the UN. So he was sent to Somalia by the UN, and he was involved in writing the Somali constitution. So we met again, and then we ended up in Lagos again. So I've known him for over 30 years. And I can tell you from these multiple interactions over the years that he's intelligent, that he's diligent, that he has the presence of mind, that he's exposed, that he's equipped to know, he knows how modern governments work, he knows how the world works, he knows the center of gravities of the world, where you can get things done, he knows how to network, he knows how to build teams. And I can go on and on, but I believe you'll be asking me more questions. So as an intro, I think that is what I will tell you, that he's the man for the moment, because the challenges of today must be tackled by leaders who are nimble, not only on their feet, but intellectually, leaders who are agile, whose minds are agile, who are capable of reacting quickly to developing events that may impact either negatively or otherwise. Leaders who will know how to build teams to harvest opportunities that the 21st century world presents. So, Osinbajo is a man.
Okay, so in politics, there's what you call power versus governance, and this comes into play in politics. So does the vice president have the political will to strike the balance?
Look, we're talking about somebody that is culturally sensitive. By cultural sensitivity in a multi-ethnic Nigeria, you are talking about somebody that understands that we're a multi-ethnic nation. Somebody that knows that there are brilliant Nigerians all over Nigeria, from Sokoto to Bayelsa. Somebody who knows what the youth are doing around the world. Somebody who respects our differences. Somebody who believes in Nigeria. Somebody who knows that this nation has embedded within it resources, both human and otherwise. Somebody who is able to to extend the handshake across the Niger, as they say. So we're talking about somebody that knows the modern Nigeria, knows how Nigeria should be working, somebody that presently has a team around him from almost every part of Nigeria. And then he knows, because he's a listening man, he knows who he can tap to advise and to help in the process. So we're talking about somebody that is prepared for leadership. And let's not forget this man has been vice president for by the time the election comes, to be 8 years, sitting in the room where decisions are taken, sitting at the FED meetings where he is the most prepared of all the candidates running for presidency. If things were normal, everybody should just hands down and sit down and watch. If things were normal, they should withdraw and allow him to have a consensus, the consensus candidate to just run. And that's the truth. I'm not saying because I feel, but because somebody will say, you've known him for years. I think Nigeria, I live Nigeria, I drink Nigeria, I eat Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian, and Nigeria has been good to me. So I have Nigeria's interests at heart. And if you ask me, Osinbajo is the man.
Thank you very much. You did say things were normal. Thank God you believe in a climate where things are not normal. Okay, now this takes me to the next question. When people talk about history, history means that you know where somebody is coming from, or you know where somebody's capability. Now, do you think that we know, there's no gainsaying, we know that Professor Yemi Osinbajo has an intellectual history. It's quite robust, and it's something that you cannot contend. Now, do you think that his intellectual history can match Nigeria's current political outcome? Can it be that different for Nigeria's politics, as it were, knowing fully well that we live in times and seasons where we have a lot of gimmicks, political gimmicks going on?
Well, I think I even answered this question by saying that, I answered the question in part when I said that when somebody has been vice president for about 8 years, when the person has worked across cultures, when the person has been at the national level for long, you will recall that he first came at the national level when he was a special advisor to the Minister of Justice many years back, working with the Attorney General of the Federation.
Okay, quickly, we'll just take a break. Let's sort out our, this is network issues and challenges. We'll take a break and when we return, the show will continue.
I've visited our gallant troops in the Northeast and our brothers and sisters in the IDP camps. I've felt the pain and anguish of victims in violent conflicts, terrorist attacks, flooding, fire, and other disasters. I've been in the homes of many ordinary Nigerians in various parts of the country. I have sat with our techpreneurs in Lagos, Edo, and Kaduna, with our Nollywood and Kannywood actors, with our musicians from Lagos, Onitsha, and Kano, and I've spoken to small and large businesses. I stood where they stood, and I sat where they sat. I know their hopes and aspirations and their fears. And I believe that in those hopes and aspirations are the seeds for the great Nigeria that we all desire. I believe that the very reason why the Almighty God gave me these experiences, these insights, and these opportunities is that they must be put to the use of our country and its great peoples.
Fellow Nigerians, the need to come together to chart the course of our great nation has never been more needed than now. That's why we have created a group to do all that we can to support the candidacy and emergence of Professor Yemi Osinbajo as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2023.
Ours is not just another support group, but one that strongly vouches for the personage, intellectual capacity, and prospect embedded in Nigeria's most celebrated vice president in history. And as intellectuals from different industries, we are solidly putting our resources to help achieve this vision.
Now that you know about us, do you share in our ideology and our ambition? Do you want to share strategic thoughts on how to move our nation forward? Start by joining us. It is free. Click the sign up button below. This is a call to serve.
We are the Osinbajo Think Tank.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, I have been talking to our Major General, Akem-Vingir, retired, who is a leadership expert and, of course, and a military strategist here. And just before that break, we had that network hitch. I was asking you about how that Professor Yemi Osinbajo's intellectual history outcome, knowing fully well that Nigeria's politics is a bit dicey. Do you think what he has as his intellectual history is enough to actually quench the political waters like the tides?
You only need to go back to when the few occasions he had the chance to act. You saw he brought his dynamism and intellectual capacities to bear on governance. Within the few periods that he was acting president, you saw the direction things went. So Professor Yemi Osinbajo is prepared by experience, prepared intellectually, prepared by working and serving Nigeria over these years to be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, without a shadow of doubt.
Fellow Nigerians, the need to come together to chart the course of our great nation has never been more needed than now. That's why we have created a group to do all that we can to support the candidacy and emergence of Professor Yemi Osinbajo as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2023.
Ours is not just another support group, but one that strongly vouches for the personage, intellectual capacity, and prospect embedded in Nigeria's most celebrated vice president in history. And as intellectuals from different industries, we are solidly putting our resources to help achieve this vision.
Now that you know about us, do you share in our ideology and our ambition? Do you want to share strategic thoughts on how to move our nation forward? Start by joining us. It is free. Click the sign up button below. This is a call to serve.
We are the Osinbajo Think Tank.
I've visited our gallant troops in the Northeast and our brothers and sisters in the IDP camps. I've felt the pain and anguish of victims in violent conflicts, terrorist attacks, flooding, fire, and other disasters. I've been in the homes of many ordinary Nigerians in various parts of the country. I have sat with our techpreneurs in Lagos, Edo, and Kaduna, with our Nollywood and Kannywood actors, with our musicians from Lagos, Onitsha, and Kano, and I've spoken to small and large businesses. I stood where they stood, and I sat where they sat. I know their hopes and aspirations and their fears. And I believe that in those hopes and aspirations are the seeds for the great Nigeria that we all desire. I believe that the very reason why the Almighty God gave me these experiences, these insights, and these opportunities is that they must be put to the use of our country and its great peoples.
Fellow Nigerians, the need to come together to chart the course of our great nation has never been more needed than now. That's why we have created a group to do all that we can to support the candidacy and emergence of Professor Yemi Osinbajo as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2023.
Ours is not just another support group, but one that strongly vouches for the personage intellectual capacity and prospect embedded in Nigeria's most celebrated vice president in history. And as intellectuals from different industries, we are solidly putting our resources to help achieve this vision.
Now that you know about us, do you share in our ideology and our ambition? Do you want to share strategic thoughts on how to move our nation forward? Start by joining us. It is free. Click the sign up button below. This is a call to serve.
We are the Osinbajo Think Tank.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the Osinbajo show. Of course, just before we had the series of breaks, I have been talking to the Major General, Akem-Vingir, and we have been looking at the journey to the presidency. Let's take a look at Nigeria's security architecture. What will be the impact of a Professor Yemi Osinbajo's presidency on Nigeria's security architecture?
Okay, when you're talking about security, essentially, you're not just talking about its architecture alone. Security actually goes way beyond the architecture. But if we must accept that it has an architecture, and truly it has, you must also include the socio-economic dynamics of Nigeria. In other words, there are some things that precipitate insecurity and you must tackle them. And the man I have been relating with and talking to and discussing with over the years understands Nigeria, understands the problems of Nigeria, and will be able to put together teams, multiple teams that will handle the security challenges that Nigeria is facing. So Professor Yemi Osinbajo is the man for the job. He will do the job. He will build teams. He understands the dynamics, the factors precipitating insecurity. He will be able to come to it with knowledge, come to it with solid teams, come to the issue of security with a background of sitting in the room and tackling the security situations they've been tackling up to now, but with a new set of eyes, perching at the highest point of leadership, looking down over Nigeria. He'll be able to craft strategies that will tackle the menace.
One of the things that Professor Yemeshiba just said in Bauchi was he said we would focus on improving security, the economy, and lives of common man. So, what's your take on this? You know, he talks more about the common man. What's your take on it, having to have felt the impulse of the common man?
Yeah, you know, if you want Nigeria to work, and I believe he understands it because I've discussed with him extensively. If you want Nigeria to work, you must get power right. You must in place fiscal and financial policies that will make for ease of doing business, so that businesses will be creating jobs. The economy will pick up because governments do not create jobs. Creating jobs is the fault of the private sector, businesses, corporations. So, and then the Nigerian youth that Professor Osinbajo believes in, he believes that the Nigerian youth is so gifted that if you empower them by in placing the required platforms, that they will invent, they will innovate, they will create things that will go global. And we have examples, multiple examples that we can draw from. Flutterwave, for instance, was created. It's a Nigerian citizen, so to speak, corporate citizen. So we have Nigerians all over the world creating things. So Professor Osinbajo understands that you get power right, you get security right, you get the economy's engine revving and growing by loosening up all the bureaucracy that ties people down, making business, conducting and doing business in Nigeria easy, that if you do all that, you will unleash the force that is embedded within the Nigerian nation, and the economy will improve. And once that happens, even the insecurity itself will be driven down on its own. You see, if a graduate has nothing doing, and they've done the National Youth Service, they are sitting at home, then the tendency to enter into mischief is there, the temptation is there. But if somebody gets a job in a bank, gets a job in a company, he's creating stuff, he's doing things for himself, using the ideas and the power of the internet today, then you will discover that insecurity will just on its own start going down.
So coming into this electioneering campaign, we see that many of the candidates have what you call political ideology. So what would you say is Professor Yemi Osinbajo's political ideology? Many of the candidates have what you call political ideology. So what would you say is Professor Yemi Osinbajo's political ideology as regards to his quest to become president from 2023?
Well, you know, he's a Democrat. He's a Democrat. In other words, he believes in the power of the state. He believes in institutions, but he also believes in the rights of Nigerians. Okay, he is a man that believes that institutions should work. He also believes in the rule of law, and we have seen him act in that manner. For instance, when he saw that the National Assembly was under a siege, within the time frame that he was acting, he did something about it. He believes in separation of power. He believes that there is an executive arm and that there is a legislative arm and that there is the judiciary. And we saw it play out. When Justice Onogem's confirmation was pending, he did something about it within the time he was acting. So we're talking about a man that believes in institutions. He's a Democrat. And he will permit Nigeria to be run as a democratic nation. So the proof is ready.
Thank you very much. So in few weeks, the delegates will converge and they're going to be having their primaries. What word do you have for these delegates as they converge, knowing fully well that it is a major hurdle ahead of 2023 elections?
I'll talk to the delegates from the heart. I'll ask the delegates to think about not about themselves, about their children, to think about their grandchildren, to ask themselves some pertinent questions. Now, what kind of Nigeria do we want to bequeath on our children and grandchildren? I want them to look beyond money, because some people are not even going around seriously. They are thinking that the delegates can be caught on that day. So they are not even going around canvassing. One of them went around today and was talking with such arrogance that I felt he wasn't even trying to convince the delegates. He was talking as if he had them in his pocket. So I would tell the delegates, think Nigeria. Think beyond your present comfort, if there is anything like that. Think about the person that is equipped, that stands shoulder high above every other candidate in a dispassionate manner. Think about the person that has the intellectual capacity, has the energy, physical energy, to be able to sit in meetings and not sleep off. Think about the person that knows how the present world works. Think about the person that is able to navigate the VUCA world, the volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world that we're in. Think about the person that is able to scan the domestic environment, scan the external environment, and spot dangers as they are coming and opportunities as they are evolving. Think about the person that will be able to build teams of men and women of high intellectual capacity and not be afraid of them, not be intimidated by them. Think about somebody that can think on his feet, that is nimble, agile, able to react reflectively, so to speak, by the weight of experience that he has gathered. Think about somebody that has run something successfully. If you sat inside the Osinbajo's chambers in Lagos, in their meetings, the level of intellectual discourse that went on in those places, you'll be thanking God that you were sitting in that room. I'm talking about somebody that is intensely intelligent, somebody that is able to remember conversations that we had 20 years ago. We're talking about somebody that is prepared. Look, the man was made for this moment. So I will tell the delegates, this kind of moment comes only once in a lifetime. Seize it. Seize it for your children. Seize it for your grandchildren. Seize it for your great-grandchildren. Seize it for the nation called Nigeria. I'll tell the delegates that's what they should do.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for your thoughts on the show. Thank you so much. I do hope that the delegates got their information very clear ahead of primaries. We have been talking to Major General Akem-Vingir, retired, who is a strategist. He's a military strategist and, of course, a leadership expert. And he's been on the show right here with us. Thank you so much for being part of today's show. Indeed, it is an honor to have you join us today. Don't forget that you can join the conversation using the hashtag Join the Conversation on Twitter and, of course, on YouTube. Send your messages and be part of the conversation. It's been a pleasure having you join us today. The program comes on Tuesdays and on Fridays by 8:30 p.m. Thank you so much for being part of the show. I am Lilian Chide saying, vote with your conscience. Make sure you choose the right leader. Have a beautiful evening. Bye-bye.
Fellow Nigerians, the need to come together to chart the course of our great nation has never been more needed than now. That's why we have created a group to do all that we can to support the candidacy and emergence of Professor Yemi Osinbajo as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria come 2023.
Ours is not just another support group, but one that strongly vouches for the personage, intellectual capacity, and prospect embedded in Nigeria's most celebrated vice president in history. And as intellectuals from different industries, we are solidly putting our resources to help achieve this vision.
Now that you know about us, do you share in our ideology and our ambition? Do you want to share strategic thoughts on how to move our nation forward? Start by joining us. It is free. Click the sign up button below. This is a call to serve.
We are the Osinbajo Think Tank.